Morning everybody. So first tutorial up is this cute little crop top. It's got a little tie there and some darts. It would look really cool with some high-waisted pants or maybe like a dress underneath. It's like ultimate surfy girl top for the beach. Not that it's beach weather at the moment, but so if you're keen to give this a go, then grab yourself some fabric. It's about a metre, depending if you do binding or not. So we've got the pattern, back, front. So that will be on the website, Sewing with Jean, PDF downloadable. Print it out and follow along the tutorial. Let's cut this singlet out. So I've got my fabric set up, ready to go. So with normal patterns, they send you away like a plan of how you cut these out. I like to find the best way of the fabric. So sometimes you've got wee imperfections that you want to cut around, but yeah, so I sort of do trial and error. But so we've got our pattern pieces. I'll put these on a PDF for you guys, and so I've got, this is centre front, so that goes that, and that's the tie. You put that in there. So you always do the centre front running straight down. So if you don't have weights, you can use like tins or something heavy, and draw around. Got right over here, and I just use chalk. Quickly just cruise around there. Can you see well? Yep. And then so I always mark a notch up for centre front, and then if you're not doing it on a fold, which is over here, then you can just join those up, flip it over. So I've sort of been trying to decide if we do double layer or single layer of this singlet. It all changes the way that it's sewn, so I thought let's just do single layer, and that will use less fabric. We can, yeah. Now, so when you're sewing, always tie your hair up. My sewing teacher told me this horrific story one time, and I haven't forgotten it, back in sewing school in Dunedin. He told us that one day this lady was sewing with her hair not tied up, and sorry, I'm trying to concentrate and tell the story. And the sewing machine grabbed her hair, let's turn it off, and it ripped her hair out, and like part of her scalp. I don't know if he was just telling us that as a story so we would tie her hair up, but I don't care, because I wouldn't want that to happen, because with the commercial machines they can be quite, someone getting it, powerful. Yeah, so from then on, when I start sewing, I always tie my hair up. Okay, so that's our first, our front. I'll use this, show you. So there we go. That will be our front tie. And yeah, I think that's going to be quite cool. If we should do double layer, it would be nice double layer. Just gives you a bit more sort of support, sort of. So this is our singlet back. It's just a plain piece. Again, I'll put these on a PDF for you guys. I'll scan them and do that. So same thing, we always do our grain line down straight. So pull that closer. And so weights, and if you want to, feeling confident, you can just, don't worry about the chalk, or you can put it on a fold, but I'm just going to do this to save time for you guys for the video. Too small to do that. Just quickly cruise around. It's a frost this morning down in Kaka Point, which I suppose it is nearly August, so it should be starting to get warmer hopefully. So this is a non-stretch fabric, so it does matter. Your patterns will change if you're doing stretch or non-stretch. It can be quite different actually. So it's something to watch. But we are going to bind these edges. Another way we could do it, if we used double the fabric, you can bag it out, then you'd have 2 layers, which sometimes is a nice way to get around not having an overlocker. Yeah, I think for when you're starting, 1 layer is all good. So that will go back. This is that back. So you've got usually got a front side of your fabric and a back side. Can generally use either. Linen's pretty. Yeah, that's the right side there. So pop that on, and that's going to turn up to that. So I made this pattern the other day, so if I need to change anything I'll just do that. Then we've got our dart that's going to go in here, and then that will go on side seams. So yeah, that's cutting that out, and we will next we'll sew it up. Alright guys, we also need bias binding, so that will be the edging that goes around here, because we're doing 1 layer. We're going to need that on the sleeves and maybe around the neck. So for bias binding you always do diagonal, so you've got your grain line and you do the bias binding. We need about 60, what do we got? So we've got, and with bias binding it means that it won't take off your seam allowance, so where it is where it'll be. So 33, so we need 66. actually 66 minus 2 is 64. About there. 64 centimetres. 64 centimetres. When you get into having to change from centimetres to millimetres and metres and all that, it can be challenging. Had a few conversations actually with because building and drafting is in millimetres generally, and sewing is in centimetres. There's been some mistakes happen. So we're going to do 4 centimetre bias binding. I'm just going to cruise along there, measure 4 centimetres, there, cut it there. You really probably should draw it out, but I do a lot of stuff by eye. I guess people will find that out if they watch the videos. But yeah, best to maybe use a ruler, or if you're not very good by eye. So there is some bias binding. I'm going to double it up. I'm just going to use this as a guide because I've already done it, so it's easier just to make, because this, when you do this, it is stretchy, and that's why we do it on the bias, so it can go around curves and stuff. So just be careful you're not stretching it out and making it too skinny if you're doing it like this, like I am. Nose is a bit sniffly today. I'm just tired or something, maybe, I don't know. So there we go, double, and also we're going to need some for around the neck. I might do that after. It's just the same. I'll bring it over here because we're going to come over to the iron. How do I show you that? Here is, there we go. Now, excuse the burn marks. So with this we are going to, oh, the iron's not on, that's not helpful. So you've got 1 centimetre and 2 centimetres, and then you should have, so you've got 4 centimetres, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to put that in there like that. Can you see? No. Where are we? What about coming over here? Sorry. Trying to find the best way to show you. That's probably better. See, we're going to put that, so push those in, 1 centimetre, 2 centimetre, and then we're going to fold it over like this. So cruise right along. Oh, I'm in the way again. Oh well. Go along, along, along. Might actually be better. My iron's turned up to linen. So right along, and then you can do that. I won't show you the whole thing, and then double it over. So that is bias binding, how you make it, and we are going to put that, we will sew it, I'll show you in the sewing part, but that will be what goes on our edging. Back over there. Bit of moving around. Yeah, and that will make a really nice edge around there, because you could just turn it over. You could just sew it like that. But I think the bias bindings, we've got it cut out now, so may as well use it. Hey. So sweet, let's take our pieces off. Undo that tie. Linen, that's linen for you. So we're going to pop these out, and we need to mark our dart. So if you can see, dart. Just do that with a bit of chalk. Dot, and you need to know where it's going to finish. And so I'll notch these out for you guys to make it easier. Before I put the pattern up, this pattern up on the PDF. Need some pins. And we're going to, oh shiz, it's about knock that over. See, I'm learning something new too. Showing people how to sew is a little bit different to sewing. I guess that's the difference between being a teacher. So notches go together, and we've got our little point where we're going to sew to. So we're making a triangle basically. Sometimes it can be tricky to actually pin these, so pull that closer. So we're going to put those together. Just pin that. Pin that, and I'm still holding on to this little notch. Got a triangle here. Great dart. So that just pin that there. So with a dart, so I've decided I'm going to show you guys to sew on this machine, and I know that you're on the domestic, which is cool, it's just the same, but this machine's lots quieter for our videos, so you don't have to listen to my noisy domestic machine. Super noisy. Annoys me even. Hopefully your one's not as noisy. So we've got there, and with a dart, so we're going to do our darts first. Oh, should tie my hair up. Hold on. Alright, so I couldn't even find a hair tie. Ended up tying it up. So I suggest you get a little bit of practice fabric and of what you are using, a little bit of the offcut, and just test it out. See where your machine is at. Does it need its tension changed? So I'm going to go from, turn my length down, because my stitches are way too long and my tension needs loosened a little bit. It's a bit tight, it's sort of pulling. And I've changed my needle to a skinny, and so try that again. Yeah, much better. So it's not pulling and creating bad sewing. So we're going to do darts. I've pinned them up. We are going to sew from the edge. Can you see? you want to go turn it that way. So we're going to go from our edge. Don't sew over the pins. Sewing over pins can just break needles, make funny holes in your stuff. So we're going to go, when we sew a dart, we're going to go so this point to this point, but in the middle. So I generally like to fold that like that where this point is, so we know not to go past there. So when we're sewing, we're going to sort of try and curve it a little bit. You can draw it with chalk if you want, but we're going to sew in a curve, and then we're going to tear, what's the word, taper it off. So we're right on the edge, you can see, right on the edge there. I'll leave it in there. And then show you. See, the curve is very slight, but we come out, and then that means when you're folding out your dart, it makes it like gradual rather than just a funny point end. So let's do both of those. So always from your edge. Fold that over. So a bit of a curve, and then there we are. Pull it out. So we're going straight into darts. Probably not the best thing to start on. They're actually quite can be hard to do. So come over here to the old iron, and I like to, well, if we go that way they're going to be in the way, so let's go down. I like to give them an iron, and I like to hold my fabric up and sort of iron it out. As you get more and more practice, you'll be able to sort of manipulate the fabric. You hold that up, so it sort of makes, and then we have a really beautiful dart. Okay, so we're gonna get our front. So our front with our darts to our, go down to our back, so right sides together. So we've got our dart, and this is the wrong side, so that's going to go down. Right side, where's our right side? That one. Right sides together. So sometimes you might not end up right on, especially if you've got a pattern that you've made. We can change that on the pattern. We're going to pin our shoulders and our side seams. 1, 2, 3, 4. To take a little bit off that pattern. So back to our sewing machine. So we're going to sew side seams and shoulder seams, 1 centimetre seam allowance is allowed. So on your machine, if you don't have an overlocker, you will probably have or you will have a zigzag setting. Cut that off. Can you guys see? Not really. There we go. So I haven't made this yet, so it's showing me where I need to change my pattern. So I will do that before I scan it and send it to you guys. So cutting extra thread off is a good way to keep everything tidy. Yeah, it's really annoying if you get to the end of your garment and you've got threads everywhere. So I like to do it as I go. I might find it easier. So we've got the last one. To nibble a little bit off the pattern there. Cut. I've got about a centimetre, so I'm just going to cut that off. But I will do that on the pattern. So we've got our 4 bits, and so if you can shoot around on your machine and overlock, well, not overlock it, but you can use, I have got on my machine, I can use that one or the crisscross one, and just go down those 4 edges. Yeah, and I'll do mine on the overlocker. But if you've got an overlocker, then that's great. But if you don't, it doesn't matter. So, and then we will do our edging. So, where are we? That's what we're up to next. Sweet. Hi guys. So, I have got our top all, I went around the edges, overlocker, all the edges. So I thought I would let you guys, what I'm decided to do is to use the bias binding on all the edges, so you can do that, or if you would like to just turn over all of the edges. Yeah, so you choose what you want to do. If you want to turn over the edges, we're just going, best thing to do would be to iron them all out, all over. So I've got this, because I'm not doing that, I'm going to show you on this. It does mean you will lose a centimetre off the whole pattern, but yeah, you would have done that. You would have lost it anyway if you didn't, if we were going to bag it out, which is what I originally was going to do. I was going to double it, and then so just go, when you're going around the curves, it can be difficult, so just sort of shimmy it in, do the best you can. And I'm just showing you on a bit of, oh, I've got black on. I've been sewing with black this morning, doing just a couple of alterations. So I'll just show you in black, and then it'll be fine. So you just need to come down on your edging, try and stay like, when you're doing edging, let's see if I can get this to, I'm going to try and keep the same distance. One-handed sewing for a wee minute. So if you can see, linen's quite forgiving, which is good. So if you can try and keep the same distance all the way around. I'm going to use white thread. Yeah, so you're going to have an edging and then just give it a wee iron out, and that should make a nice edge. So, but if you're going to bind, so I've got, I cut exactly the right lengths for our sleeves. I'm just still in my jacket, sorry, I'm just quickly showing you this. I'll need to switch to white, hang on. Okay, so we've got our white thread on. When you're getting the length of binding that you need, go around your edge with like a long enough bit, or you can do it with a measuring tape and get that, and then so it's the right length. What we're going to do is sew our binding so it's the actual length that we need. So open that back up, right sides together, and we're just going to centimetre seam allowance. So if you need to mark on your machine, you can use masking tape for your seam allowance. If you just need a guide, it can be a lot easier to have a guide rather than winging it. And then what you need to do is come over and just iron that out. I'll do it like that. Puts in. Press it out, and then it's been a while since I've sewn binding actually. Let me just, can you guys see that? I'll get better at finding the best angles. So that's one that I've cut out for the arm sleeve. What we're going to do is put our seam here. So we're going to put that on there. You can pin it all if you want, might be best. I'll just put one there, and then at Polytech they sort of got us to sew a lot without pins, but just means that you can sew faster. So, but I still use pins at times, so I'll just do one top, one bottom, and then we're going to start there, take pin out, and it's quite nice and stretchy. We're going to go right along the edge of our binding. Hopefully you guys can see that. So that's what it's going to look like right around. Just sew around one sleeve, and then I'll turn the video off and do the rest, so you guys don't need to watch that the whole time. So all the kids are back at school now. School holidays are over, so into term 3. The year is going fast, but I just sewed over it. It happens. See? And that's why you don't, because it can little marks kind of. But you could even just leave it overlocked or zigzagged if you really wanted to. Yeah, it's up to you if you want to bind it or just turn it over. I like a nice binded finish. Turning it over is pretty, makes it easier. So there you go, you sort of got to catch both sides of our both sides. So you're going to get, that's the right side. There's our dart. Once you give it a press, it looks much better. And then, so you got to catch, so you're going, catching that side as well. Okay. So I'm going to cruise around all the edges of my singlet, and then it'll actually make the tie be able to finish, because if you're turning it over with different thread colour, then you're probably going to see that. So there we go, I'll get that done. Okay, so I finished the little crop top. So we've got our binded edges all around now. I ended up sewing these and turning it over. So we've got the bias binding under, and I turned it under again. Just makes it sit a lot nicer. It was sitting out sort of weird. So there we go, we're all done.